Good morning, Villa fans, and welcome to a match preview, first of the 25-26 season. Also going to be talking about Premier League predictions. And as of 10:06 today, which is Wednesday, the 13th of August, Jacob Ramsey looks like he's going to be moving to Newcastle, moving to the opposition. Talks are underway. Everyone seems to be reporting it. Ornstein, Romano, all the podcasts are doing their sort of talks about it as well. And I just wanted to jump on quickly as well and just give a quick kind of talk about that situation too. So Jacob Ramsey, I'm quite surprised that he's going to Newcastle by the looks of things. We have offered him a new contract, which he hasn't kind of accepted. He's got 2 years to go on his contract. So this is probably peak transfer value for Jacob Ramsey. But yeah, just disappointed that that he's looking to move on and moving on to a rival team. Jacob Ramsey's got 1 goal last season, so not great sort of contribution levels. 17 goals since he broke into the Villa first team back in 2019, which obviously isn't great either. But it's 2 goals in pre-season. I was hoping he might sort of kick on. He's still quite young and can sort of improve. But it looks like Newcastle are putting 40 million down on the table. Homegrown player, pure profit. And obviously we did need to sell a player and reduce some wages off the books as well. And it looks like Jacob Ramsey reported 75k a week is going to, balance the books for us. And if, looking at it, I mean, if we had to have a player leave the team, I didn't want to sell Maatsen. I didn't want to sell Watkins. Didn't want to sell anyone else like, Consa, Kamara or anyone like that at all. And it looks like Jacob Ramsey is the player that, we could probably replace, and we will replace. I'm sure we will. I know we've got Guessand coming in as well, or already here, but I think we will be active in the transfer market to bring someone else in as well. So Jacob Ramsey, I mean, I'm surprised he's going to Newcastle. Looking at Newcastle's midfield and attacking options, I don't actually think he gets into their starting 11 because he's not going to get into the midfield 3 of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joelinton. That's pretty solid and pretty stacked and pretty consistent. And then ahead of that, they've signed Anthony Elanga, who plays from the right. I think Anthony Gordon plays from the left, so he's not getting in on the flanks. And then they've got Harvey Barnes, who's a very good, adequate backup on the flanks as well. So where does Jacob Ramsey actually fit in? I mean, he's going to be a squad player at Villa, and then he looks like he's going to be a squad player at Newcastle because I don't see him playing week in, week out there as well. So, but, best of luck to him. He is one of our own. It's always sad to see, that's this kind of happening. And PSR is basically just turning football into a business. And it's becoming more and more apparent now that football is no longer a sport. It's a business. And when you have to sell homegrown players that you bought through your academy, I mean, JJ's been with us since, I don't know, 9-10 years old, I think it might be, and worked his way through the academy, local boy. And, you want to keep those players in your team. You want local lads playing for the team. So it's disappointing because I do like him. I do think he's a player. He's not going to be a world beater, and 40 million. If he's refusing to sign the contract, then we bank that and we go on. And we've seen the emergence of Emi Buendia in pre-season. Doesn't normally play from the left, but maybe he can do something there. Asensio talk has been bubbling away over the last sort of 24 hours. Is he due for a loan return to Aston Villa? Not sure how that would work on the SCR side of things, because I'm sure Asensio's wages would be higher than Ramsey's. But banking 40 million pound profit, does that come into the factor as well? I'm not too sure. But so there's transfer rumours there, guys, and we've got George Hemmings coming through as well, who I'm excited about. Maybe there might be a chance for him to get some minutes. I know he played sort of CDM, but there is that opportunity to maybe push him further forward, perhaps, and have him come through. So there are positives to it. I mean, Ramsey, good luck to you. Hopefully things aren't completed in time that you can play on Saturday. I don't think there will be, and there might be some sort of agreement to say there won't be. But we move on to Newcastle now. First game of the season, absolutely buzzing. I've actually got my tickets for the game as well. Finally, I'm managing to get to Villa Park to watch a game. I don't very rarely get the opportunity to do that. I've taken my son, my daughter to their first proper game at Villa Park. I did take them a couple of years ago in that COVID year when we had a friendly against Villarreal around Christmas time, and we were in the sensory box because my son is disabled. But that wasn't a proper game. It was like half, not even half full. And then since then, we've been to like the Walsall Bescott Stadium last season to see the Bilbao game and things like that. So getting to the first game of the season, I'm absolutely buzzing. I haven't got my tickets yet. I've got 2 out of the 4. So hopefully they'll be coming through shortly. But anyway, guys, match preview here against Newcastle. Newcastle are going through some turmoil themselves. Obviously, Alexander Isak is the talk of the tune at the moment. So he's refusing to play. He's throwing his toys out of the pram, trying to push through a move to Liverpool, which I see that will happen. Maybe sort of close to the window. I think they've already rejected a £110 million bid from Liverpool. But I think Liverpool will come back now that Darwin Núñez has moved on to Saudi. They've got that money as well. I think they'll come back in with an improved offer, and they'll take Alexander Isak from Newcastle. And where does that leave them? They're obviously trying to be active in the transfer market, haven't been able to get any of their targets that they wanted, like Benjamin Sesko. Johan Wissa is there as well. I think he'll be probably the replacement that comes in. They've obviously lost Callum Wilson as well in the summer, let him go on a free to West Ham. So they have very little sort of striker option. So I think what you're going to see from Newcastle is, defensively, we've got to keep an eye on Fabian Schär. This guy always seems to score against Villa, has a great record against us. So we need to keep a close eye on Fabian Schär from set pieces, especially. They just brought in Malik Thiaw from AC Milan for about 35 million. Whether he'll be thrown in game week 1, I'm not too sure. He obviously hasn't trained with the team just yet. So might be a bit of a risk to do that. And then their midfield is pretty stacked. So as I said, they've got Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joe Linton, who are pretty much the 3 there, and they're powerful players, good engines, good players as well. And then ahead of that is obviously where the problem lies, because they haven't got a front man at the moment. They don't have a striker. So it looks like obviously Anthony Gordon's going to play maybe from the left, Elanga from the right, and then you're going to probably have a look at maybe Jacob Murphy, maybe playing through the middle, or they've got a youngster called Asula, who they picked up from Sheffield United, or I'm not sure that he's kind of ready to lead the line just yet. So they might even go with like a false 9 perhaps, and maybe pack out the midfield, maybe have Harvey Barnes, who has a good goal-scoring record against us, to run from deep, maybe sort of put Barnes, Elanga and Gordon together as a front 3, and have, a false 9, as it were. Not too sure. It'd be interesting to see how they line up. I'm not sure that they'll get any transfer business done, apart from Jacob Ramsey, in the striker position before the game. But it's going to be an interesting, a very, very interesting game. I mean, Newcastle are a tough team to beat. We did beat them 4-1 at Villa Park in last year's fixture. And I think we're going to need to go strong with our formation to combat the midfield trio that I mentioned there of Bruno, Tonali, and Joe Linton as well. So predicted lineup wise for me, I mean, obviously Emi Martinez is suspended for this, so Marco Bizot is going to make his Villa Park debut. I'm not sure he's going to be on the bench because we've got rid of Joe Gauci now, which I'm not too sad about. Sam Proctor from the under 19s, under 20s, he might get a look in on the bench here. There are rumours that I heard about maybe having possibility of Jed Steer coming back as a third choice goalkeeper. He's a free agent at the moment, but those are only sort of initial kind of whispers. But who knows? I wouldn't be too upset if Jed Steer came back as a third choice keeper, as a third choice there. So let's see about that. So Bizot in goal, right back Matty Cash. I think Garcia hasn't featured that much in pre-season. Bogard has played there. I think Matty Cash is pretty nailed on at right back. Left back for me, I would go with Ian Maatsen, purely because of the pace of like Gordon and Barnes and Elanga out wide. Whoever's playing out wide out of those 3, they have great pace and great dribbling ability. And Digne is good, but I think for this game we need the pace of Ian Maatsen and recovery pace. And we saw Digne get tied into knots a little bit by Mason Greenwood for one of the Marseille goals as well. And I feel as though this might be a sort of a similar kind of game. So I don't think this is the game for Luca Digne. So I'm going in Maatsen on the left back. Centre backs, Ezri Konsa all day, every day of the week at right centre back. And then the left centre-back one is a toss-up really between Pau Torres and Mings. I mean, you could pick either or. I think I'm going to go for Tyrone Mings on this one. Physicality, leadership, being vocal. Obviously, you're missing Emi Martinez for this as well, so we need some sort of leaders on the pitch. So I just think Tyrone Mings just about for me to start this one. And then ahead of that, then CDM positions, obviously Boubacar Kamara for sure. He's going to sit in there for me. And then alongside him, I'm going to have Amadou Onana. I think we need the physicality. He had a great game against Newcastle last season, scored a tremendous goal, rocket of a shot as well. I think we just need the physicality of Amadou Onana in there as well. And then what I'm doing with Yuri Tielemans is that I'm pushing him advanced into that number 10 role and maybe sort of coming in as that midfield 3. So Yuri Tielemans just to play a little bit more advanced in the number 10 for me. And then Onana and Kamara as the CDMs. And then the wingers, obviously Ramsey's not going to be involved here. Might even be sold by then. Leon Bailey hasn't done anything really for me in pre-season, so I'm not going to pick him. I think we need John McGinn on the pitch as captain. Obviously, if Emi is not there as well, so John McGinn will lead the side. And I'm going to go John McGinn on the. I'm going to go on the right-hand side for John McGinn, I think, for me. And then on the left-hand side, I'm going to start with Guessand. I would love to see him start. I think he's a big, powerful runner as well. And again, he would give that physicality, extra bit of height, especially for those set pieces that we're going to come up against. And Newcastle are really good at set pieces. And then, we have Ollie Watkins up front. I think Rodgers, for me, even if he is deemed fit, obviously missed the last 2 games of pre-season. How sharp is he going to be? Let him come off the bench. Let Marlon be off the bench, impact player when the Newcastle defense is tiring, and then you can switch it up and take off Guessand and bring on Marlon, or even take off McGinn perhaps and bring on someone like Bailey to freshen it up. And obviously, Watkins up front on his own kind of picks himself as well. So that would be my kind of team lineup and my thinking kind of behind it as well, with Onana coming in there for the physicality, because I just think Joe Linton and Bruno and Tonali, they have this knack of overpowering teams sometimes. And I just get a feel we just need a body in there who's going to be able to, shoulder barge, put in a tackle. And I think Onana is that midfield player for this game. And he can break forward on occasions. And Tielemans playing in the 10 is not a bad thing. He's done it in big games for us, even against PSG at Villa Park. I think he played in the 10 as well. So he is a player who can play a little bit more advanced. And obviously he can drop in and make it a midfield 3 as well. So I just think we need that. And obviously with Guessand playing, I want someone who's a ball carrier. McGinn will give you that 100% work rate and effort, which he always does, supporting Matty Cash maybe on the right-hand side, cutting in centrally on his left foot. But then Guessand can give you that option because he is kind of two-footed, but he's predominantly right-footed, so he will be cutting in as well. And I just get the feeling that he will give them a problem. And then you've got Marlon who can replace him later on in the game, just to give that same kind of impact and kind of running style. So that's the lineup for me, guys, for this game. Buendia, unfortunately, he's had a really good pre-season. I think he'll be on the bench for this one. And I think maybe another game, maybe against a Brentford or a Palace, might be more suitable for a Buendia start. I just think against Newcastle, we need to go big, we need to go physical, and we need all of those sort of players. And I'm predicting Ollie Watkins, who's licking his lips in the picture here, to get the 20 goals this year. I think he's got, the first choice striker. He's got no competition at the moment breathing down his neck. Guessand is that multifunctional player who's not going to just be competing with Watkins, but other players in that sort of attacking midfield. So for me, Watkins should have the confidence to go on and bag sort of 20 goals this season. I'm going for him to score in this game as well. So that's my kind of predicted lineup for the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you agree with that, if you don't agree with that, is there someone else that should be coming in? Does Rodgers come in for you straight away? Or I just think because he's missed the last 2, Buendia's been on fire as well. Do we reward him with a start? Wherever Emery goes with, obviously we'll back. But it's going to be a tough game against Newcastle. They'll be up for the game. They don't want to lose the first game of the season. And it'll be interesting to see which way the result goes. But I'm hoping Villa are going to pick up the 3 points on the opening day and make Villa Park a fortress. We've done pretty well at Villa Park under Emery, and I want us to continue that. So for me, I'm going to go with that. And my score prediction for the game, I'm coming to Villa Park to watch the game. I've never seen Aston Villa lose. Hope I haven't jinxed it there. I'm going to go Aston Villa 3, Newcastle 1. I just got a feeling that Watkins is going to show up in this game. I think Guessand will get off the mark on his debut. And I'm going to go Ezri Konsa to score from the set piece. So there you go. Watkins, Guessand, and Konsa to score for Villa. That's my 3. Don't know why, just for random. That's what I think anyway. But anyway, guys, that's my sort of match preview for the game. I'm going to talk about Jacob Ramsey. I wanted to finish off with some Premier League predictions as well. So I've had a little play around with, the Premier League predictor and where everyone's going to end up. And yeah, this is my sort of top, my league table really. So I think Liverpool, especially if they get Isak, and they're talking about Martin Guéhi as well. If they get those two added to the squad, I think they're going to be unstoppable. I think they'll retain the title. I think Isak will go on to have a really, really good season. Probably even top goal scorer in the Premier League if he does get the move to Liverpool. So Liverpool to win the league, Isak to be Golden Boot winner, Ollie Watkins to hit 20 goals, but I think Isak will get more. So Liverpool top. I'm going to go Arsenal second. I think they've done some good business. Zubimendi, Madueke, Norgard, Gyökeres, obviously. I think they've strengthened. Man City, I'm going to go third. I just don't think I don't know what it is. I just got a feeling that they're not going to be the team like they have been. I think there will be some drop off there for Man City. Chelsea have strengthened everywhere. Obviously, they spent loads of money. And I think they'll end up fifth. Sorry, no, Chelsea in fourth. And then I think Villa are going to end up in fifth. That's what I think. I think just Chelsea are just going to be a little bit strong for us in terms of squad depth. Although Chelsea do have quite a weak defence, especially centrally. I'm not a fan of Chalobah. Colwell is injured now for a long time. Badiashile is probably the next one to step up. So you're talking about Badiashile and Chalobah as a centre-back pairing. I think our centre-back pairing is a lot stronger than that. So, Newcastle, I think they'll be busy in the transfer market with the money of Isak once it comes in. I think they'll end up sixth, but obviously they've got Champions League campaign to juggle as well, which will be difficult. They haven't got a massive squad, so that's where that is. Bournemouth in seventh. I think Iraola, he had to replace their 2 defenders, and he has replaced them. I think Diakate from Lille has just joined them today, but I think they'll continue to be strong. I think they'll play football the right way, and I think they'll end up in 7th position. Man United, I think they'll have a huge jump up this season. I think that attacking lineup that they've got, Sesko, Cunha, and Mbuemo, Fernandez there as well, Ahmad as well. They've got some good players. Obviously, Garnacho looks like he's going to be moving on soon to Chelsea. But I think United will finish up in 8th position, which will be a good improvement for them. I think defensively, there are still some massive questions. I think if they get Donnarumma in goal, which has been linked, then that will be a massive, massive shot in the arm for them. Although he's also been linked with Chelsea as well. But let's see where he ends up. Crystal Palace, obviously off the back of the Charity Shield win, Community Shield win, they always look quite strong. Obviously, they haven't lost too much personnel. They've kept hold of Eze, Mateta, and Wharton at the moment. They can keep hold of them and build. Obviously, Guéhi looks like he might be going. But I think Glasner's a good coach. I think they'll end up in 9th position. 10th position, I'm going for Spurs. I think Thomas Frank will have an up and down season. I think, again, juggling sort of Champions League campaign with the Premier League is going to be a big ask for Spurs. I don't think they have the strikers there. I don't think Solanke is quite that 20 goal a season striker. Kudos is a good signing for them, but Tottenham, I don't know, it's all a bit Spursy, isn't it? So I'm going to go 10th for them, for me. 11th position, Brighton. Obviously, they're talking about Baleba joining Man United. Brighton obviously dipping into the transfer market and sign these gems from all over the world, and they've signed a couple of those. I was very impressed with Maxim de Kuyper from Club Bruges as a signing for Brighton, but I do think 11th place for them. And then the drop-off for me is going to be Nottingham Forest. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain, 30% possession and winning games and things like that. I think teams might kind of figure them out. Alanga's gone. They brought in a player called Endoi, who I'm not too sure about him myself. Gibbs White, still there. Marinakis, obviously, holding him to ransom and keeping him on board. But I think Forest will have a drop-off. I think they'll end up in 12th position. I think if something happens to Chris Wood or something, then they are, struggling for goals. And how long can Chris Wood keep going on? So let's see about that. Everton, Jack Grealish just signing for them. Thierry Barry as their striker. I think Moyes has done well, given the sort of limited resources. New stadium for them as well. I think they'll end up in 13th. I think Grealish will have a good season for them. Playing in that sort of free role. I think Moyes will give him that freedom. He'll give him the freedom. He won't just pin him out on the left. He'll say, right, you go where you can affect the game. And I think, I wish him luck for the season, except against Villa. Fulham haven't done a lot of business as far as I'm aware. Sat in 14th. Same old, really. Just going to be a sort of, bottom half finish for them. Nothing really to get excited about if you're a Fulham fan. There you go. Wolves, obviously lost Cunha. Strand Larsen's been signed on a permanent, who I do like. They've just signed Arios from Fluminense. Colombian winger, looks quite nippy and sharp. So they'll end up in 15th, I reckon. I just don't think defensively they have enough to keep goals out. West Ham, Graham Potter. I think he might be the first manager gone. Is my prediction. I think they're going to struggle. I can't see where minus Jared Bowen, I can't see where the goals are coming from. Paqueta's been linked with a move away, and wouldn't surprise me if he left late in the window. But West Ham just seem to be like nothing going on really for me. I don't have too much sort of creativity. They've lost Kudos as well. So for me, West Ham struggle. 16th for me. Sunderland out of the promoted teams, I'm getting them to stay up just about in 17th position. I think they've done some okay business. Adingra from Brighton's a good signing. Talby from Club Brugge is a good signing. And I just feel as though they just will have enough to stay up, just about. And then my 3 to go down. Brentford have obviously been raided. The spine of the team, Flecken, Norgard, and Mbuemo. Looks like Wissa could be going as well. That's a massive, heart ripped out of the team of Brentford. And what kind of players are they going to bring in to replace them? They've got Kelleher in goal. You can say that's a little upgrade on Flecken. But Norgard was a big player for them. I don't know how active they've been in the window and who they've kind of bought in, but I think they're going to struggle this season. New manager, Keith Andrews, who literally was Austin McPhee equivalent, the set piece coach, who's been given the full-time gig. So I would say Keith Andrews or Graham Potter, first manager sacked before Christmas for sure. But yeah, Brentford to go down 18th unless they wisen up in the transfer market, which I can't see. And I can't see Keith Andrews attracting the names and the players to Brentford as well. So I think they're going to struggle and they will go down. And then we've got Burnley in 19th. They've done a lot of business. They've done a lot of business with the likes of Chelsea. But again, I just don't see the quality in the team. Just don't see it. Kyle Walker will be a good experience signing for them. Aside from that, was it Amanda Brozier they've just signed? Leslie Chukwueku, what his name is, from Chelsea. Not really filling me full of any sort of confidence, really, that Burnley will have enough to stay up. I think they'll go down comfortably. And then Leeds will end up in bottom position. I think Farker, again, is going to be under pressure and probably will be one of the top 3 first manager gone of the season, perhaps. But again, business-wise, what have they bought in? I don't think they've bought in that much. Nemecha, I think it was mentioned, and a couple of little players here from the Bundesliga, but nothing really substantial that you think, okay, that's going to get them, that's going to defensively sort them out, that's going to help them score goals. Just can't see them getting enough goals, and I think they're going to be bouncing around up and down and going back down to the Championship even. So that is my sort of Premier League predictions. So Isak for top goal scorer. Player to look out for. It's a difficult one because there's so many of them. But in terms of the new signings, I'm going to go with, I think João Pedro will have a good season. I think also that Sesko will be amongst the goals for United. I think Sesko, big claim, but Sesko to outscore Gyökeres. It's going to be tight. I think Gyökeres might be presented with more chances at Arsenal and maybe converting those. But yeah, let's see what happens there. But guys, I'll leave it there. That's 25 minutes. Let me know your thoughts on the game, your predictions, your lineups. If you're there at the game, let me know. It'd be lovely to meet up with some Villa fans and sort of say hello to everyone in person. I'm going to be sitting in the family area by the sort of Trinity Road stand. So I think it's B7 block as well. So if you're around that sort of block or around that sort of area, say hello. And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. And I'll probably do some sort of vlog as well, Max Stokes style, but probably nowhere near as good. But I'll probably do my first kind of match vlog as well. And yeah, let's head. I'm hoping for 3 points. I'm confident of 3 points. 3-1 Aston Villa is my prediction. Let me know your score predictions. Please do like, subscribe, comment, help me grow this channel. See you all Saturday. Up the mighty Villa.